welcome to Twinhammer. We're back, and today we are going to be teaching you how to convert another team. And this time, it's the Felgor Ravagers converted into the Saurgor Ravagers from the Saurus Warriors from AOS.
Bringing the lizardmen to space.
In the lore of the Saurus, actually, and the lizardmen, they have these spaceships, so we thought it would be incredible to bring them into 40k. This was kind of like all great conversion inspirations. It hits you. And I was looking at one of the websites and I was like, wow, Felgor are the rage. It was when the Felgor Ravagers were really popular.
Felgor's so hot right now.
Felgor's so hot right now. And I was on a trip in Mexico, actually, looking at my coupon code from Games Workshop, and we had a little bit more funds to spend on Games Workshop. So I was like, wow, the new Saurus Warriors, it was just released in AOS. They looked so incredible. And Felgor were cool. We love the Beastmen. We love that they brought the Beastmen into 40k. But the models, we've seen them before. That's why conversions are so cool. You can make them your own team. So we said, why don't we?
What would be cooler than Goatmen?
So dinosaurs in space, everybody's favorite faction in AOS, and we brought them into space. And the lizardmen ended up being such a fun conversion because we just took literally a box of Felgor and a box of Saurus Warriors and essentially replaced the hands of all the unique Felgor operatives, and we put them on the Saurus Warriors and posed them, and it came out absolutely beyond imagining cool.
You got handsy, and then the scale ended up working out pretty well. It was almost a 1-for-1 just swap. And then, interestingly, we put the Saurus weapons on the Felgor as part of the Warp Coven conversion. So it was kind of like they just traded weapons. They're like, hey, you guys want to swap? And then the teams just swap weapons, and then we ended up having two unique builds, which ended up working out pretty well.
We wanted to cast it in a lizard jungle vibe still, so the bases are very jungle vibe. The display that I used was actually the display from Thomas's The Savage Orcs in the Jungle scene.
The Savage Orcs, otherwise previously known as Bone Splitters, but they're Savage Orcs.
This one best painted at the Maple Leaf Wargaming tournament with that display, and it's just so fun. It ended up being where we've used just the classic method and technique where we wanted to see if these were going to be the Starborn Lizardmen. I was looking at a lot of YouTube videos for Starborn Lizardmen. They're the ones with glowing eyes and blue, the dark blue features. So that was the base for it. But then I was like, wow, it would be cool if each of the lizards to be more defined as their Felgor people. Each of the lizards should have a color on their spine.
Yes, because interestingly, with the Felgor team, because they all look relatively similar, it can be hard for your opponents who don't know the operatives, because they're all special. They look very similar, but everyone has their own little specialty thing that they do. So you can tell by the weapons in a certain way, but by adding color coding, it even makes it easier. So
ended up being using the blacklight color coat paints, and that ended up being an amazing highlight for that team. So we took the Mangler, put the Mangler arms on them. We took the Vandal, we put the Vandal, the big mace on the Vandal. The Herd Goat became the whip guy on the Saurgor team. And then just basically a 1-for-1 swap with all the hands. And
yeah, one of the most creative things you did was instead of the Flux Ray having this weird little burpy third arm coming out of his chest, like they do on the Felgor, the Saurgor used their bladed tail as its extra attack, which is kind of cool. So rules, when your operative passes another operative, I believe it does damage. So the fact that this operative is kind of whipping out a bladed tail is a lot cooler than just like this third little stabby arm.
I think my favorite out of all of these conversions was the Mangler, because the arms of the Mangler fit so perfectly to the lizard man, and he's just so beastly, wanting to eat somebody.
He has bare hands basically, so it just looks like he's trying to grab someone and just bite on them. Yeah.
And I think the scaling looks cooler than a class.
It's like T-Rex with big hands, obviously.
He's got big arms, not these little T-Rex hands. He's got like these massive Mangler. And you know what they say? the mangler go mangle, and you don't want to be on the yeah, you don't want to be on the other end of the mangler. And the Toxhorn came out cool because he's just throwing the Tox bomb, and he looks really cool. And the Mystic I made from the Standard Bearer. The Standard Bearer is pretty solid Mystic, and it looks
like a fancy staff. Yeah.
And then the Gorehorn came out really cool as well with the big axe. And then the Musician actually ended up being a perfect guy, where it's the guy with the big shield ended up being the Musician, and he's the one who gives the bubble around to turn off crits. So
isn't that the Shaman?
No, the Shaman actually.
Gong. He's the guy with the gong. Death Knell.
Death Knell.
There we go. Came to us.
Death Knell was really cool because he was coming from the Musician, and he was the actual shielded guy. So we gave him a nice, beautiful shield from the Saurus kits, and then he ended up being a really cool Death Knell because he's got the shield, he's got his gong as well, and so he's really the one who sets the tone for the whole team when you're playing them. So I think this team, I took them to one tournament. They've obviously done very well. And in the new meta for Kill Team in current February of 2025, they're actually placed to do quite well, except when they're facing, Legionaries, or they're facing Angels of Death, which are a pretty hard counter, as we found out when I was playing. So Felgor, a great team, I think, since they've been introduced against the Hearthkin Ravagers. They've been just an incredible team, fun team to play, and I fell in love with them after they became the Saurgor, because we just love Lizardmen so much. We've got a few Warcry warbands with them now, and now a kill team with the Saurus Lizardmen. So this is a way to build your kill teams. Take your factions that you love from other game systems and then bring them into your favorite game system to play. And our favorite right now competitively is Kill Team.
And as you can see, we actually took two separate boxes, and then we ended up with just a little bit of creativity, using all the bits, all the parts, swapping them out to create two unique builds and teams that hadn't been seen before, but really fit. So when you can take a vibe that really, really fits well, and you can just do a few simple swaps, you can very quickly have a unique build you can be very excited about without too much converting, kit bashing, or anything like that.
Hopefully this helped you in your converting journey, and we can't wait to see what kill teams or any operatives or kill teams that you want to convert in the future and future projects. Throw them down in the comments. We'd love to see that, love to hear about it, and support you guys on your journey.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, until the next one.
Stay classy, San Diego.